Hello one, hello all, and welcome to episode 57 of the Crochet Cakes podcast. My name is Elizabeth, and you can find me as Crochet Cakes pretty much anywhere on the internet, including my blog, which is crochetcakes.com, my Etsy shop, which is daintybycrochetcakes.etsy.com. You can also email me at crochetcakespodcast@gmail.com, and of course you can get a hold of me in all the usual haunts of Instagram, Ravelry, and here on YouTube. Oh, and before I forget, Pinterest. You can also get a hold of me through Pinterest, where I am Crochet Cakes as well. So, how have you guys been? I hope you've been well. A lot has happened since the last time I podcasted. A lot of stuff really has happened. I have so much to talk to you guys about today, so much to share, and a lot of stuff has been happening in the crafting community as well. So I already said my piece. It was a very simple piece, but if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen a post of me basically sitting down screaming. I guess I was a bit artistic and I wanted to kind of portray how I felt on the inside, because I hope that you can all tell that I see people and I hear words. That's it for me. All I care is that you are a kind, caring individual with a bit of sass, imagination, creativity. You know what? Sometimes I don't even care about that. I just see people. So I really want to welcome everybody who has decided to press that play button, who's subscribed to my channel, anybody who's tuning in for the first time. Thank you to spending that little bit of crafty time with me today, or whatever day of the week you are watching this. Today is actually Friday, January 20-something. January 25th. Today's the 25th of January. And I guess you can tell how my life has been lately if I can't even tell what day of the week it is. I know it's Friday because yesterday was Thursday, and you know, days of the week pretty much follow consecutively like that. But what else can I chat to you guys about? What else has happened? I also posted on Instagram a little tutorial on how to make some drawstring bags, some simple drawstring pouches, which I'll be right back and I'll show you. I'm back, and these are the little drawstring pouches I was talking about. So this was the first one I made. Yeah, this was the first one I made. So it's a little bit wonky. This was the second one I made. And this is the one I made in the tutorial. And you can find the tutorial saved on my profile in my highlighted story for your viewing pleasure. Yeah, I don't think there's anything more to say on that subject, except that I used tea towels or kitchen towels to make them. You can also use tea towels, and all I did was basically, I have a tea towel here. Let me just show you. All I did was basically fold it in half and then fold it in half. And that gave me this size of drawstring pouch. It's a little just drawstring pouch, nothing too extravagant. But I also, I don't know if you can tell, I cut the edges of the towel and I used them to be my drawstrings. They only have a drawstring on one side, so you could just pull it shut. And my intention was to be very green this year and use them for when I buy bulk items that, you know, if your supermarket has it, it's usually a little Ziploc bag that you pour nuts or flour, whatever it is that you want in there, and that's it. Well, that's what I bought these guys for, is because I got tired of using those little plastic Ziploc bags. So yeah, if you're interested, go check out my Instagram profile. It's saved in stories, like I said, and it's just a fun little tutorial. You can use whatever type of fabric you want. In fact, I'm so crazy that I decided that I was actually gonna make the little organza gift pouches for my wedding, because that's something else I've been up to. Originally, long time ago, in last year, actually, it's been literally pretty much a year since the last time I talked to you about my wedding. It was going to be in October. It was going to be an autumnal wedding and blah, blah, blah. Well, that date got pushed forward by a lot. I am getting married in 4 months. Well, 3. January's almost over. I'm getting married in May, and yeah, I decided to do little organza gift pouches for my wedding. I have yet to sew a single one, but they'll get done. They'll get done. And inside, I'm also planning on including some crochet coasters as my wedding favors. And to let you guys in on all this craziness, I've also written blog posts, not detailing, but giving a little photo tutorial of the stitches I've been using for the coasters, because my plan was to share some of the gorgeous stitches in this vintage Dictionary of Crochet Stitches by Ann Matthews. I got a hold of this on eBay, so if it's something you're interested in, you might check out eBay. It was relatively inexpensive, and I got free shipping as well. And it came from the UK, which I found really weird to get free shipping from the UK. But hey, it might have been included in the price that I paid for the book. Who knows? Either way, this book has a lot of gorgeous stitches, but like, see these. But the instructions and the stitch count sometimes are just a little bit weird. So I've been reading through it, selecting kind of like stitches I think will be good for the coasters I'm planning on making and whatnot. And I've already done a photo tutorial for this one, which kind of looks like a braid, because that's another thing. None of these stitches have any names, so I kind of just been making them up as I go along. But if you know the names of the stitches, please comment below and I will add that into my blog posts. So this kind of looks like a braid, and you get it by working into the chain spaces. So you basically do a single crochet in a chain 1, and then you work into your chain 1 spaces. So for now, I'm only doing 2 per person because I've invited 100 people to my wedding, so that's about 50 families. And I think 100 coasters is okay, you know, 2 per family. And this is another one. I haven't done the photo tutorial for this one yet, but so far this one's been my favorite stitch. It's basically like a single crochet fan, and I absolutely love it. I think I'm actually going to make a blanket out of it because it's a very sturdy stitch, so it won't be as holdy for a crochet blanket. But the other tutorial that is up is this one. This is my version of a popcorn granny square. And it's a simplified version of the popcorn stitch, because usually the popcorn stitch is 5 double crochets, take your hook out of the last double crochet, insert it into the first double crochet, and you know, pull through chain 1, all that jazz. But I'm only using 3 double crochets here, so it's really hard to show you because it's a really ivory and it's very sheeny. It's the Lion Brand 24/7 cotton. But trust me, I'm using 3 double crochets instead of 5. So yeah, those are the only 5 I've done. So yeah, I'm crazy. But we shall keep going on, and I shall keep you updated every week, because that's the span of time I've been taking to upload a blog post about each square that I'm doing. And of course, you know, you don't have to be like me. You don't have to make coasters out of them. You can make them in wool or acrylic and sew them all together, and at the end you'll have a blanket or a pillowcase, or you know, anything that strikes your fancy. But we all know that I do not, absolutely do not have the patience to sew up squares for a blanket. I've barely had the patience to sew up squares for the secret garden dress, which that will be the only mention you hear of it in this podcast, because I have not worked on it whatsoever. I have not even opened the project bag where it's lying. I have thought about it, and I have thought about how it'd be awesome if by May at least it'll get done so I can wear it during my weddingcation. We're not going on a honeymoon yet. I think we're going to postpone that until after August, because we're looking into moving out of our current apartment into a new space. So we shall see how all that goes. I will of course keep you updated on all the wedding craziness. I have a venue, which is great. I have a date, which is great. I have me and my future husband, which is great. We still have to purchase our rings, purchase a cake, fine music, photographer, and booze. Lots of booze. Because, let's face it, weddings are fun, but they're made better with wine. And maybe the beer or two. Mimosas definitely make a wedding better. But unlike my first thoughts of having a brunch wedding, this is actually going to be in the evening because it's on Friday the 31st of May. So I wanted to give people some time that they could actually fly in on Friday morning and then come to our wedding in the afternoon. So that's what we are looking into. And yeah, I still feel crazy for trying to oh my god, words. I still feel a bit crazy for trying to make 100 coasters, which is doable, you know. I'm using cotton yarn because I really like cotton for coasters. It absorbs the water and it doesn't kind of just glide off, and then you can stick it in the wash, and yay. And I'm using a 4mm hook. I've got different brands of cotton that I've been using. So I'm going to show you these guys again. I'm using, for the sage green, because that's the colors of my wedding, it's sage green, I am using a Premier Cotton in the sage colorway. Sage is a very, very tricky color. It really depends on the yarn company that's producing it, because the Red Heart Sage from the Red Heart Super Saver doesn't really look sagey to me. It looks more like minty. And then the Frost Green kind of, or Icy Frost, kind of looks like sage. So, you know, it's just a thing. I'm using Premier Cotton in the sage colorway. I got these at Joann's. This ivory one, as I mentioned, is 24/7 cotton by Lion Brand. So it's a mercerized chain plied cotton. And this dusty blue, which is the other color of my wedding, is actually Drops Paris, I believe. Let me check. I must have a ball band somewhere. No ball band. Maybe it's in here. Aha! Yes, so it's Drops Paris, and this one is recycled denim, and the color is 101, but it was, you know, I call it dusty blue because that's what it reminds me of, and that's one of the colors at the wedding, so hooray for ideas or craziness, you know. But yes, let us carry on. Honestly, I've talked to you guys about so many things already. I don't remember what I talked about and what I haven't. The other thing I wanted to mention was that I had a lovely follower on Instagram tag me saying they made a crochet velvet skirt, and it was beautiful, and I meant to save it, and I know I commented on your post, and I also meant to just take a screenshot so I would remember your name. But if you watch this podcast, please comment down below. I would like to search for you on Instagram again. I know you were a nurse, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But anyway, her version of the crochet velvet skirt was also beautiful, and she made it inspired by mine. So yeah, it's kind of like thrilling that way, huh? When you do something that inspires other people. It's just a beautiful, beautiful feeling. So thank you again to anybody who ever comments about how much I've inspired them, because actually you guys also inspire me too. Whenever I think I can't do something, I try to remember all you lovely viewers and our lovely Ravelry group and just the community of openness, creativity, and love we've created. And I feel like I can do anything, and that's how I hope you guys feel too. I hope that you feel that with my support, even though it's through a screen, you can do anything. And by that, I do mean anything. Bake a cake, crochet, knit, make a pair of socks, I don't know, go skydiving. Although, I don't do heights, so, but feel free that I will support you if you decide to do skydiving or travel the world in 80 days. Is that actually possible? I don't know. Maybe if we're all traveling to different areas of the globe, we could write down how long it actually took us to get from point A to point B, and then we can all calculate how long it would actually take us to travel around the world. I kind of like that idea, actually. Anyway, back to the artsy, craftsy, crochet, knitting, sewing version of the podcast. Now, I believe I've chatted to you long enough about anything and everything under the sun, actually, and you're probably looking at me going, what are you wearing? So what am I wearing? Having showed you finished objects, I am wearing a finished object, and it's something that I started in 2018, a long time ago in 2018, because I remember I wanted to finish it for November because it's very autumnal, and it's the DK version of the Shield Maiden top. And I'm gonna stand up so you guys can have a better view of it. You'll probably notice a lot of differences from the original version to this DK version, and that is mostly due to lack of yarn. So as always, I approached this project with a very ambitious thought that I could crochet a DK version all in wool. This is all 100% wool. We've got this top band here is 100% superwash merino. It is a single ply, and it's from Kayleen, who is Little Bean Loves hand painted yarns. She has her own website, and this is the prongs colorway. And on my sleeve, also from Kayleen, I have the warm tail colorway, which, even though I did not like him at all as a character, this colorway is everything. And this other main color that you see here is actually from Nora George. It's the toffee apple colorway, which I was super excited to get. And I thought, you know, these colors faded in really, really well into each other. And so I did take notes on what I did. But it was really kind of like, yep, let's see if this works. And if it works, we'll pass on our silly notes to somebody and see if they can actually make it. So I will actually have to sit down and process all these notes. I have been thinking of whether or not I will actually keep on working on this pattern and put it up for sale on Ravelry, because I have the free version on my blog. Is really a size small. If you are an experienced crocheter, you would have no trouble at all adjusting it to make it medium or large, because it's the way I design garments. I usually go by ear, writing really detailed notes, and then I try and do a piece based on those notes. So that's what I did with this DK version. But it was also pretty experimental because I went from bulky weight yarn and an 8mm hook and a 7mm hook to a 4mm hook and a DK version. So there was a bit of math involved in how I worked each piece and stuff like that. But I just want to show you guys that you can make it in different kinds of yarn. So I made this one again in 100% wool. And these two, like I said, are single ply yarn. This one is not single ply. And I did run out of yarn, so I used 3 hanks of yarn, but I used every single last scrap of those 3 hanks of yarn. I have nothing left over of any color. I think I have a tiny bit left over of Warmtail because it wasn't enough to make one more row on either sleeve. But that is pretty much it. Now, I don't have any proper pictures of this garment because I have to be honest, when I finished it, I was so upset at it. I didn't like it. It hadn't turned out like I wanted it to be. I was just really, really disappointed that after having it on my hook for so long, the only urge I had was to rip it all back and use the yarns for something else. So, trying to be sensible, I just decided to fold it, put it away, and then take it out the next time I podcast and see how I felt about it. And actually, I really kind of like it now. I guess the most annoying part for me was that I had to fade back into the prongs colorway, and I have a little bit of a single crochet from the wormtail colorway also. And the other big change, if you remember the original Shield Maiden pattern, which I'll include a picture, was that it's not a v-neck. So I know that v-necks or crop tops or having your belly exposed doesn't really appeal to a lot of people. So I'm trying to show you different versions of the same pattern. So this one, as you saw, only has one pattern repeat of the flower granny square stitch, and of course it also just has some space here where I slip stitch for the sleeves and just a normal neckband. There's nothing special, really super special about it. As you see by the seam, it is crocheted in 2 pieces and then you sew it together. The other thing I was gonna kind of play around with was trying to crochet it in the round, but I don't know. So I think that's really all I can tell you about this garment. It's comfortable. It's still not exactly how I envisioned it, but I've proved to myself that you can make it in cotton, which was the bulky weight cotton with a nylon blend, which was Bernat Home Deck. And you can also make it in wool, which, by the way, this was really cropped. Like, it didn't even reach my belly button cropped when I washed it. The stretch was enormous, as you saw. I mean, it stretched so much. The reason why this is also bulking here is because I decided to sew the pieces together, then wash it, and then block it. I didn't even block it aggressively, I just laid it down flat. And that's how much it stretched just by having soaked in water for 20 minutes. But I have not blocked it after adding the sleeves. I do want to block the sleeves individually. They will stretch a lot more and it'll, I feel, reduce some of the bulk, because this really bugs me. But you know, it's got a very t-shirt comfortable feel about it, and you can dress it up or down. You could probably wear it on top of a dress if that's your fancy. I still think it's a very versatile pattern, and I've kind of proved that by making it in 100% superwash merino. So I hope you guys like this version too. Like I said, I'm still considering if I'm actually going to post it as a free version on my blog, or if I will go to Ravelry and upload it as a paid for pattern, which will be quite extensive, because although the basic idea of the original pattern is still here, the math is different. You know, there's no v-neck, there's only one pattern repeat, the stitch count is completely different. So yeah, we just have to open up the original PDF document, brush up on it, edit it, and see how I feel about it, right? And of course, write it for medium and large as well, which is something that I've been a bit neglectful with. So yes, this and those coasters and those drawstring bags are not the only finished objects I have to share with you guys. I have also finished some other awesome things. You know, I wonder if this garment can count as the Love Your Stash cowl, because it was in my stash and I finished it now. But either way, these other two do count for the Love Your Stash cowl, which is hosted by Hannah of the Cozy Cottage Crochet. Hi! And it started on the 25th of December, and she said stash was allowed because, I mean, whips were allowed because they were part of your stash, as long as they were not more than 50% done. So the first one I'm going to share with you, you guys know I started it in October, but I didn't finish it until December, and I didn't cast on the second one until the 26th of December. So literally it was not even 50% finished by the time the Love Your Stash Cal started. So I'm really, really happy about that. And it is a pair of socks. So if you saw the podcast I did with Mom and the previous podcast, I was working on these pair of socks to be a Christmas present for her. And these are the Jemima socks. They are a pattern by Kay Jones from the Bakery Bears in the Beatrix Potter series, I believe. Now, I did change some things in the pattern. Not big things, so the stitch pattern is still the same. But I cast on 60 stitches for the cuff, and then I increased to 64 for the actual pattern. And the biggest change was probably the fish lips kiss heel. I did a fish lips kiss heel on these socks. They're alive. I did a fish lips kiss heel on these socks for the second time ever, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. It was so fast to make, so enjoyable, so I really hope these don't break, in the heel at least. And I did the umbrella toe, which is included in the pattern, and I gushed about it last time. I am absolutely in love with the umbrella toe. While working on this sock, I really wanted to get to the toe because I wanted to knit the umbrella toe. I find it to be so, so enjoyable. It's absolutely easy to remember and it's just lovable. So as you can see, for the most part, these socks are perfect. Yeah, that's what they are actually. They are Regia Perfect, color 01348. So, and if you do open the inside, it kind of gives you a rough breakdown of how to work it, but not really. So I just, like I said, did my own thing. I can tell that this thick band was where the heel was supposed to be, but hey, they matched up perfectly. And you know what I found that I love about self-striping yarn? You don't have to count rows. You just count your stripes. So I knew they were gonna match perfectly because I was counting my stripes, and I mean, they're not perfect. This one has more white on the toe than this one, which I actually like better. This drives me a bit insane that there's only that tiny little speck of white for the Kitchener stitch. But they are done and they are lovely and they shall be a present. And since I already said they're gonna be a present for Christmas, now they're just gonna be a present for Valentine's Day, or maybe Mother's Day. I'll probably store them until Mother's Day, build up the anticipation. But I also have another pair of socks finished. Oh yes, I do. These, in contrast to those, are completely crochet. So these are a pair of crochet socks. Yes, they are. And they were made using a Advent mini set that I received from Mom this Christmas. It was the Sock Advent Mini from Crafternoon Treats. You've heard me speak about her and her yarn a lot. So this is it. These are my Crafternoon Treats Sock Advent socks, and I absolutely love them. I find them so thrilling. They were such a joy. For the toe, I did the toe that Mom has included in her My Sweet Socks pattern, and for the foot and the leg of the sock, I did an extended single crochet, which you can actually do a whole pair of socks just like I did using the Gorman Street toe-up socks pattern. These socks are also toe-up. These were cuffed down. And then I did the heel that's also in Mom's pattern. Now I have a super loose gauge when it comes to crocheting socks. So I used 44 stitches, and when I was getting to right before my heel, then I increased to 48 stitches. But I was still afraid it wasn't really gonna fit over my heel and it was gonna be a bit tight. So after I finished crocheting the heel, this row here was, these 4 rows, this color, was crocheted using a 3.25mm hook. Having done that, I don't think it was necessary. It was good just increasing to the 48 stitches, but better safe than sorry. The other thing I can tell you about this is that I forgot to include a color. And I noticed right when I was gonna do the cuff, and the color really didn't look good with these top three, so I just left it out. But I do know, because also as part of the minis, I was working on Catherine's Blondala pattern, which is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. And I haven't really worked on it. I was so focused on doing the socks, but this is where I am with that. Isn't it beautiful? So the color I missed was this one. Right after the purple, I was supposed to have this yellow. What happened was that from doing the perfect sock yarn, I had to rip back until I got to the yellow part to make the other sock as matching as possible, right? So I used that leftover yarn of Regia to actually crochet the heel, and then I was going to move on to adding the yellow color right after. And I forgot, but I still love the socks. They would have benefited from being a little bit taller, I feel, but they still fit well, and I actually even did a whole crochet cuff. You can kind of see the jogs from where I joined, but I'm using that as basically, I was gonna say a seam, but I can't really do that. Okay, now I'm upset. See, in my mind, when I was wearing the socks, the seam was always gonna be on the inside. But in reality, it won't. Anyway, I still love them. They were really great, and I'm going to be writing a blog post about, you know, ideas of what to do with your minis, because we don't always have to do blankets. The socks were beautiful, and I was having a chat with Mom about crochet socks and why they're so different from knit socks. And her idea, which I think it's really valid, like her theory, is that knit socks, they stretch to fit you, but crochet socks already have that stretch in it to fit you, so they look like what they would do when you wear them. I think that's a pretty valid point, you know, it bears looking into. And yeah, I'm super happy with all these finished objects, guys. I feel so productive, especially because some of them were started in 2018, like the socks and the blouse I'm wearing. And I still, you know, January for me was going to be the month of cleansing my craft, so to speak. So I wanted to finish all the projects that I had carried over from 2018. But that hasn't really happened. I did finish these two, which is very thrilling, and I'm very happy about it. But the Aster top and the Ollivander shawl, which were kind of a priority for me to finish, I haven't really worked on them. The Aster top, it's really a love-hate relationship. And I don't know if it's with the pattern or with the crochet hook. I don't know. But yeah, I'm still enjoying it, and of course I'm still, what am I talking about? Of course I'm still enjoying it. But yes, I mentioned blouses that I wanted to finish, and garments, which include my Secret Garden dress, the Aster top, the Ollivander shawl, which is more of an accessory than a garment, and stuff like that. But having said all that, having mentioned everything I want to finish ever since December of last year, you know, actually no, even before that, when I received this yarn from Knit Crate, it's from Shalimar Yarns, I knew it had to be a garment, number one. Number two, I knew exactly what kind of garment it was going to be. I know I talked about it in a previous episode ages ago when I first got this yarn, but I wanted to use the pineapple stitch. I wanted something really open and lacy because this is a single ply. This is a single ply blend of merino, mohair, and silk. And even though I'm so sensitive to mohair, to be honest, I can't even feel it. I just feel the glossiness of it. glides through my fingers as I'm crocheting it, and it's absolutely thrilling and beautiful to work with. And I believe I have like 40 grams left over here. And what I'm making with it was exactly what I envisioned I was going to make with it. That I do not remember the color, but I do remember that the base is called Air, which is a completely apt name. So I wanted to make a garment that was just as airy, that would help embody the yarn and would just showcase how beautiful it is. So I am working on a garment pattern, of course. This one is actually in the round, and it's using the pineapple stitch, and it's also using extended single crochet at the top. And even though I'm working it in the round, I'm not doing it in a spiral. I am joining in the round, and you can see a little bit of a seam, but in my mind I will just put that towards the side. So I'm showing you the two sides of the garment. And this, I'm just so happy with it. I don't know how I feel when I'm gonna split for the sleeves, but for now I am beautifully happy with it. And see, I don't have a problem with pooling. I don't find it such a big deal if the colors are subtle. So in this colorway, I feel the colors are really subtle, so the pooling is not as obvious, I find. But I mean, it is obvious, but it's camouflaged in a certain way. So yes, just working on this, and it's a cloud. It's a cloud. It's beautiful. I really can't wait to finish it. I'm enjoying the yarn, I'm enjoying the process, but I'm mostly enjoying to see how it will look. I really want to have this image in my head of how it's gonna look, and I hope I can translate it into this, but I don't know if you can tell, I'm super excited about it. So yeah, this will be the first garment I've designed in 2019. In 2018, I actually designed 4 garments, so hey. But either way, for now, started with a 5mm hook, then I went decreasing to kind of tuck it in a little bit lightly at the waist. I decreased hooks, so I went from, I went from 4.5mm to a 4, and now to a 3.75. So that's what I'm doing now to work up the extended single crochet. And the reason I wanted to use extended single crochets was because the bottom of the garment is super lacy and beautiful and open. And I felt that even though I did want the top of the garment to also be open, I didn't want you to necessarily have to wear something under it. I wanted people to be comfortable just wearing a bra under it, you know, something like that, or a little tank top, whatever. And extended single crochets to me provided the sturdiness to make it a top of the garment, but also the openness to be still part of this beautiful design that I'm translating. The yarn is working out beautifully. I did rip back like 4 times at the bottom, and the only reason you can kind of tell is that I ripped, can you even see that halo? Yeah, so at the bottom there's a little bit more of a halo because I did rip it out a lot, but the yarn didn't split, it didn't break, so it's holding up and it's beautiful. Like I said, I received it from Knit Crate. I received 2 hanks of that gorgeous yarn, which we will see if it'll be enough to make the complete garment, but I have faith that it will, because I've made the home body sweater just using 2 hanks of yarn. The only reason I feel I might need to purchase an extra one is because I'm doing extended single crochets, so the garment's not growing as fast. But we will see where that 1 hank of yarn takes me, because it is in the round, so we will see. But it's also bottom up, so who knows, maybe I'll have to crochet it all up and then try it on and be like, these things could be fixed, and then take it back down. I don't know. So yes, that is all I've been working up crochet wise, and knitting while I finished the socks. So I guess it's just now time to move to a little bit of stash enhancements. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I very kindly, very amazingly, very gratefully, am still receiving my subscription from Knit Crate. And I can't gush about it enough, guys. So if you are unaware, Knit Crate is a monthly subscription box that you can subscribe to month by month, or you can buy a plan. You can also check out their website to buy the yarns included in each crate, because they are dyed exclusively for Knit Crate. And I believe they're also doing a special quarterly crate with Malabrigo, which you can subscribe to on the 1st of February, if I'm not mistaken. But if you're interested in checking it out, I do have an affiliated link down below, and that at no extra charge to you. If you happen to want to subscribe to a month's crate, then I do get a small commission from that if you purchase. No extra charge to you, as I've said. But can I just gush about how honored and how actually grateful I am that Knit Crate approached me to be an ambassador, because I have loved every single hank of yarn that I've received. It's true, some of the colors that I've received, I've been like, actually, only one colorway that I received, I was like, this is not really me, but it was so mom, so I'm planning on making a garment for her in that colorway, which is exciting. But the most that I've actually loved about it is that I'm being introduced to all these American indie dyers that I was just not familiar with, and they are doing such splendid work, and some of the names are brilliant. And for January, I received the January box, and it's artisan. I received the artisan crate because the crates are kind of divided by things. So you've got membership crate, artisan crate, you've got different crates, and in each crate you receive different yarns. So the artisan and the artisan sock crate receive similar colorways, I believe, but artisan sock will be around worsted, sport, or fingering, you know, the same variety. But this month, this was the colors, and they're by a company. They were inspired by these colors. So Knit Crate's doing a little color palettes, and they're just giving these to the dyers, and the dyers dye up what inspired them. So one of them was the membership crate. You had this yarn, which is also beautiful. But I had the 3 Irish Girls yarn. I had never heard of them, but they've been pretty well established since 2013. And the colors are in 100% DK superwashed merino, but it's actually milled entirely in the USA. And it's also dyed in the USA. And it's 270 yards. 270 yards of DK weight. And look at these colors. They're showing up really true to color, but I'm just going to cover my face so you can see them better. At least I'm going to attempt to cover my face. These are, I can't say enough good things about them. I'm so excited to use them, and I'm going to make a shawl. I'm going to actually attempt to, not attempt, you know, but, you know, in the planning to make another Jessica shawl, which was a pattern I tested in 2017 for Claire of Bob Wilson 123, and it's a beautiful granny stitch shawl with a gorgeous lace border that you can check out her video tutorial for it on YouTube. And so this is the logo, 3 Irish Girls, and it is 100% superwash merino, 270 yards, and this colorway is Tomahawk, and this is Shoshone, which of course are inspired by Native Americans. Oh my god. Can you guys see how excited I am about yarn? It's just beautiful. So yes, this was this month's Knit Crate, and I also received a measuring tape, a retractable measuring tape with the Three Irish Girls logo. So all the, I did want to show you some of the patterns because even though I don't know if I'm going to knit them, but they are beautiful. Look at this. So this is one of them right here. And this is the other one. They are both really, really beautiful, but I really want to crochet my yarns. You know me, I'm all about crochet, all about crochet. No trouble. We're going to ignore that. Yep. So the other thing I just wanted to kind of chat to you a little bit about is my shop. So if you're not interested in hearing a little bit about my shop and then later on about some things that have been going on in my life, which I forgot to mention at the beginning, then thank you so much for sticking around and happy crafting to you. But if you are just interested a tiny bit in seeing what I've done in the shop, then I'm just gonna share with you these little items that I've been obsessing over. And they're crochet hook cases. That's essentially what I've been obsessing over. And this model is the new model I'm working on for my crochet hook cases. The first one was drafted here, so you can see all my crochet hooks are in here. And you just roll it up. And you tie it. And you take your crochet hooks with you. Now, I really do like this size and everything, but I will have to say that I found my original design just a tiny bit more portable because they were shorter. But what I've done for each of these listings is that I have given you the measurements between. So this is about an inch, and you can see how gorgeous the, I'm gonna make another one of these, and I'll actually remember to put interfacing on it this time, so it'll go up at a regular price. This one's currently at a discounted price because I forgot to interface the actual body of it. I just interfaced this top part where the crochet hooks would rest. And I also have these doggies. This one has approximately 2 centimeters per each. So Clover Soft Touch will fit really well in here. And all the other hook types will fit really well in here. This is a 1 inch space for your hooks. And the other one that I've got, which I'm super excited about, is this one. This one's kind of like a mini version. So if you're traveling, you can just take the crochet hooks you'll be working with or the crochet hooks you think you'll need if you start new projects. But I love this combination. I have no more of this fabric, so this is one of a kind. Can you tell that I love my crochet hook cases or rolls, however you want to call them? I love them. They can also be pencil cases, guys. They don't have to be for crochet hooks. They also fit up to 7-inch DPNs right now. And I'm sure if anybody was interested, you could just private message me on Etsy or Instagram or wherever, and I can also make one for your knitting needles. And if they're interchangeables, all the better, because interchangeable needles aren't that tall. So you could just give me the measurement and then I could make that in a pocket for the cables to go in. So that is shop talk, other than I do have a sale going on in my shop, which I will extend because I want to get rid of everything that was in my shop prior to 2019. And thank you to anybody who's checked that out, who's forwarded, who's shared, who's bought. I am super, super grateful. I really want to clear out the air with 2019 and kind of see what crafty direction I'm going to be taking my shop in. Now, I believe that is all the admin-y stuff. The other thing I wanted to share with you was that I did post a picture on Instagram, or was it a story, about my dog. We had him neutered, and it's been completely unpleasant for him and for us. More so for him because he just has no idea what's going on, and for us because he's so stubborn and he doesn't let you help him. And he's also very, very, very melodramatic. So basically he's been using the cone to rub against the stitches and the incision area, and he gave himself a really bad razor burn, and he wouldn't let us put the cream on it. He wouldn't let us do cold compresses. We had to take him to the emergency vet because he tore all his stitches rubbing it, and it's just been an uphill battle. He's on antibiotics. We have to sedate him most of the time because he's a really active dog and he can't really be active. So I give him a pill to sedate him once a day. I usually just try to limit it to that because, you know, I don't want him to be all groggy and everything. So usually when he gets super, super, super restless, that's when I'll give it to him. He's slowly getting back to normal, which is good. But yeah, other than everything wedding-wise and diversity-wise, and I don't know what else I can share with you. Oh, I remembered what else I wanted to share with you. I have been obsessed, and I mean obsessed, with kombucha for a long time. And I tried making my own for a while, and while I loved it, I had so many scobies and no space for them. For those of you that are unaware, kombucha is a fermented tea, and it's delicious. I love it. And Aldi's is now carrying my favorite kombucha brand ever, and it's Kombucha Wonder. It's actually made in the States, in Ohio, and Edison and I are obsessed with it. But, you know, the other thing I became obsessed with while trying to be not healthy, but mindful of the things my body needs and is craving. So sometimes you crave pizza. You know, it's not like you're going to eat it every single day. So it's okay. And so I've just been trying to approach food that way. And I actually like eating healthy. I like it. I just don't like eating fruits and vegetables. But if you put them in a juice, I am all about that. So lately I've been making a cucumber kiwi juice, and I've been using 5 kiwis as ripe as they can be. And you know a kiwi's ripe when you kind of like press it and it bounces back a little. It's not super stiff, you know, so it gives just a tiny bit, but you don't squish. Anyway, so yes, I've been doing 5 kiwis and 1 cucumber, no sugar, and I don't have a special juicer or anything. I just put it all in my blender, add about a 1/4 cup of water to kind of dilute it just a tiny bit, and then I pass it through a fine mesh sieve, and then I got juice, and it's been my obsession. I actually ran out of kiwis and cucumber, so I have to go grocery shopping. But I haven't really been grocery shopping or left the apartment. Like last night was the first time I left the apartment since Ichiro's been bonkers, and even before that, because he's just generally bonkers. So I've just been afraid to leave him on his own. He won't really get into the crate because of all the how uncomfortable he is. So I haven't really been grocery shopping, and I'm starving. I really am very hungry for kombucha and more kiwi cucumber juice. So I'll probably go later today when I finish editing this podcast and actually have breakfast, because it is 10:30 in the morning or something like that, and I have yet to have breakfast. Mostly because I didn't want to get out of bed, because last night I got up out of bed to go to the bathroom and there were 2 cockroaches. Yeah. And I started like backing away from them, and they kept following me. So I really didn't want to get out of bed to face any cockroach disasters or whatever. Yes, if you didn't know, I have an irrational fear of cockroaches and monkeys. But anyway, I am just rambling now. So thank you so much for sticking around with me and watching this podcast. I hope I was able to cheer you up a little bit, to entertain you, to keep you company, whatever you're doing today. Maybe you had a disgustingly bad day, but hey, it's Friday. So yes, thank you for sticking with me. If you liked the video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you would like to subscribe to this channel to see all the upcoming goodness that I have planned, then please subscribe. There's a big red button down there that says subscribe. Feel free to do that, and please, please, please comment. I love when you guys share all your comments, and I try to get back to you as soon as possible. It's just another way for us to interact, and me not feeling like I'm just talking to a camera, and you guys not feeling like you're just seeing me in a TV, because I am not a superstar, guys. So please, please comment down below, and let's just keep the crafty conversation going. or the non-crafty conversation going. I am open to talk about everything. Well, some things you don't really talk about, but never mind. Just forget I said anything. And thank you so much for just spending crafty time with me today. Whatever part of the world you are in and whatever you are doing, I am sending you so much love that it's almost surreal, and I hope you can feel it. So virtual hugs to you, to yours, to your pets if you have any, and just happy crafting, guys. Bye.